chairmen and members of the Federal Civil Service Commission, and the swearing of the chairman of the ICPC. A number of issues have been discussed, and I want to first bring in Mr. Festus Keyamo to tell us about certain memos that he presented and the deliberations therefrom. Mr. Keyamo.
Thank you. Thank you. The Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development presented two memos, one from the main ministry and another one from one of its agencies, which is NAMA. The first memo is actually a contract, a technical support services contract with the CCECC, the Chinese company that built the new Lagos international wing of our airport in Lagos, and of course the other 4 airports across the country. Those new airports and the five international new terminals. The new terminals in our 4 international airports. But specifically, this is the one for the one in Lagos that you remember when I came on board, because it was underutilized because of access to the place by the wide-body aircrafts. I gave a directive that all the airlines should move there, and that we should board passengers to that terminal so that we can work on the old terminal. So because of that, there has been increased traffic and pressure on the facilities in that new Chinese terminal, the one that they built. We don't want the place to deteriorate without maintenance. And sometimes if you wait for too long and facilities deteriorate, it will cost more to maintain or repair those facilities. So from the word go, we have struck a deal with the same people who built the place. It's only natural that they are the same ones who should maintain their facilities for the first 5 years. That is what this technical support service contract is. For the first 5 years, we have said that they should maintain their chillers, the air handling units, the passenger boarding bridge, the escalators at the concourse, the remote boarding lifts that were specifically made for the physically challenged, and all those facilities they put there. It is for 5 years, the first 5 years, for a contract sum of 4.1 billion, inclusive of 7.5% VAT, and which, like I said, with a completion period of 5 years. So it is for the comfort of the traveling public, for Nigerians, and for the enjoyment of, like I said, the traveling public. So that is the first memo we presented, and it was approved by council. The second memo has to do with some navigational equipments at the Port Harcourt International Airport. The equipment really are for communication. They call them the VHF AM radios, remote access devices, and other accessories for the wide area multilateration air traffic management system at Port Harcourt. What we want to do is that whilst we concentrate on the part of aviation that attracts the optics, what we call the optics, the clean toilets, the buildings, good arrival halls and all of that, that the public will want to see, we see all the time. There are very complex issues behind the scene that have to do with safety of our airspaces and all of that. We also want to improve those equipments. And this, of course, is the first step to improve some of those equipments. So we are purchasing this equipment for Port Harcourt International Airport at the sum of billion 227,721,091 naira, inclusive of 7.5% VAT, with a delivery period of 9 months. And it has been awarded in favor of a company that is actually the representative of one of the best companies in the world that produce such communication equipment for the aviation sector. So that also was approved by Council. So basically, these are the two memos that aviation presented to Council today.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Good evening. It was a very happy day for the education sector because one of the problems which the vice chancellors, rectors, and provosts of college of education, those managing the tertiary sector in Nigeria, have been complaining about have been the subscription to IPPS. You know what IPPS does? And which has made recruitment and many other activities of the university relating to personnel very, very difficult. Now today, today's council, it has been decided, the President has directed that Vice Chancellor should no longer or have been taken out of that service. So this is a very, very important development for the Vice Chancellor that will allow for efficient management of the universities and tertiary education, generally speaking. And then secondly, which is connected to that, before now, when the tertiary education institutions want to make recruitment, they have to run to the office of the head of service, for waiver, for approval, for all that sort of thing. Today, too, the council, through the directive of the president, has exempted them from that they will have nothing to do. They don't have to go to the office of the head of service because it is actually not in their line of supervision. So that too, that has been a big bottleneck in management of staff in the universities where they have to apply to that office whenever there are vacancies, and have built up a lot of vacancies in the universities and polytechnics, and that level of service, waiting sometimes for years, for months. And so from this, at this today's meeting, that requirement has been removed. So they will only be guided by what their law prescribes, and then of course there are other levels of supervision. The NUC at the Federal Ministry of Education is there, so that's a very big relief for the universities, and we sincerely hope these measures will be responsibly reciprocated by the institutions, so that whatever has led to their being brought under those facilities will no longer arise. So basically, this is what has happened as it affects education. Of course, there were some other approvals for developments in construction of Senate building in the University of Nigeria, and then approval of some money for NECO to run its forthcoming exams in a very efficient manner. The council has given them that green light. So basically, these are the things which have happened relating to education. Thank you.
Just to add to what the Honorable Minister of Education has said, the universities today have got a very big relief from what the universities and other tertiary institutions from the IPPIS, the Integrated Personnel payroll and information system. You recall that university authorities and ASU have been clamoring for the exemption of the universities and other tertiary institutions from this system. Today, Council has graciously approved that. What that means is that going forward, the universities, like the Honorable Minister of Education has said, and other tertiary institutions, the polytechnics and colleges of education, will be taken off the IPPIS system, the Integrated Personnel and Payroll Information System. What that means in simple language is that the university administration, the university authorities, and other tertiary institutions will now be paying their own personnel from their own end instead of relying on the IPPIS that has been the case. It's a huge relief that our Council has brought to those universities as institutions. There is also the issue of other economic policies that were discussed at Council today. Of note is the issue of waiver in addition to so many other decisions taken. You recall that Customs has reported that in 2023 alone, they've lost over 1.3 trillion naira to waivers. Council has decided to look at those waivers and review them so that Nigeria will not continue to lose money at a point that we all need these resources for the development of the country. I think generally these are the issues. I will allow gentlemen of the press to ask, as it is now, only the Honorable Minister of Education, and the ones I can, I will try to, if Minister Keyamo returns, I'm sure he will also take a few questions. Please keep it as short and as direct as possible. Mr. Lasisi.
IPPS, the decision will be with immediate effect, not any further deliberation or whatever it is. And then secondly, what was the motivation? Simply, the President and the Council is just concerned about efficiency of management of the universities. And so it has nothing to do with integrity or options of platforms. Simply, the President cannot understand why Vice Chancellors should be leaving their duty post and be running to Abuja to get staff enlisted on IPPAs when they get recruited. And the basic concern is that universities are governed by laws, and those laws give them autonomy in certain respects, and most respects actually, apart from one or two things. And the IPPAs has been sort of eroded that autonomy granted to the universities under the Act. So the President thinks there's no reason why Vice Chancellors should leave their duty post and be coming to take so much time, chasing issues about IPPS. Now, whether those platforms should have been allowed to operate, I mean, that's just dragging the issue. If you say, allow them to operate, which one are you now going to operate? So it still comes down to the same problem of efficient management of any system. And that's basically why it drew the attention of the President, and he simply said, look, the university should be permitted to run their affairs like any other university in the rest of the world. And the IPPS was a serious obstacle to that. And, connected to the IPPS is the authority that the head of service has to grant for a waiver, for recruitment. But they are all connected, because it means if you have to go to the head of service, they interface with the managers of IPPAs and that sort of thing. And so it was simply dragging efficiency and autonomy of the institutions. So these are the basic reasons why that decision was taken. And ASU will be very happy about that, because it's one of the things actually they were quite agitated about. And nobody is really interested in wants the university system to be bogged down in mundane day-to-day issue that does not really impact on their progress. So this will go a long, long way in ensuring efficiency and autonomy in our tertiary institutions.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. And someone asked whether there are timelines. What Council agreed today is that a committee is going to work on that, because some of these waivers actually are backed by law, and therefore you can't just wake up and say we are done with them. So we will review all that. Government will review that and see which ones are in the best interest of Nigeria and how to continue to allow them to function. The most important thing to note is that government is losing a lot of money in that direction, and that is why this very critical decision has to be taken. Only those waivers that are backed by law will be allowed to subsist. Otherwise, government will have to review them. Thank you very much. Yes, Lasisi, you see.
So there was the issue of how to address the issues of monies and the contentions between the universities as in the backlog.
Okay. Well, the president has already given a directive on that for the universities to be paid 4 months of their salary, and I believe that is being processed. There's no decision to the contrary. And so it's no longer an issue, actually.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. We want to thank you once again for your cooperation